Hello and welcome to BattleRisk Gaming, content brought to you by a dad who loves to game. Are you interested in getting into the exciting world of Guild Wars 2? Are you ready to dive in? Today we're going to be shining a light on the mysterious Sylvari. We're also going to be talking about the mesmerizing Mesmer Class. Together, the Sylvari Mesmer is a combo that's as fun as it is fantastic for beginners and even veterans. What to expect is an overview of some Sylvari lore, racial skills and aesthetics, and why the Mesmer class complements the race so well, and some tips for starting strong with this combo. Let's get into it. So, on a Sylvari, this is your starting zone, the Caledon Forest. It is right next to the Metrica province, where the Asura start, and south of Divinity's Reach, where the humans start, and west, where the other races start, the Norn and the Char. So in the zone, it's very much a coastal type region. It has a lot of trees and it's like forest coastal. It's a really nice starting zone. The opening scene is actually really cool because you are in the tree, in the dream, and you have to do some fighting to save the rest of the people with you in the dream, as well as getting yourself to safety. So the Sylvari origin is they were born from the pale tree, and their connection to nature and dreams is very strong because of this. So if you were to think of it as like having an elf race in a video game, that's what the Sylvari would basically be. It is Guild Wars 2 version of elves. So the unique traits of the Sylvari, I really like this race because they're unique in their vibrant plant-like appearance, and of course their deep philosophical curiosity. Because they are so in tune with nature, they are philosophically curious about all things, if albeit a little naive to the way the world works. If I've got the information right, they've only been around for about 24 years in this in game lore, which is not very long compared to some of the other groups that have been around long enough to see the rise and fall of their civilizations. The role that the Sylvari play in the story, they are key players in the narrative of Tyria. They add intrigue and mystery because they've only been around for a short time. People don't know where they came from, what their true connection is to nature. It's not fully understood yet. And just where they fit into the overall story of Tyria, of this world, is still under development. Unlike the Norn, who are well established and connected to nature as well, the Sylvari are born from nature. While the Norn commune with the animal spirits, I think is what they call it, the Sylvari commune directly with nature. So just the fact that they're mysterious and elusive is why I went with Mesmer. But before we get into the Mesmer class, let's continue talking about some of the racial skills. So some of the abilities that only Sylvari have here: grasping vines, which a target is entangled by vines, unable to move until they have been destroyed, and Seed Turret. When you put it down at a targeted location, it attacks nearby foes, and it bleeds them, and it lasts for 30 seconds, and it has a 60-second cooldown. So after you cast it, it will last for half of the cooldown time, and then you'll have 30 seconds of cooldown left before you can respawn it. For Grasping Vines, it only lasts for 7 seconds, so after you cast it, you'll have to wait for 38 seconds for it to be ready again. that's something to think about. Seed Turret is good if you just want to put out some more DPS, maybe draw some aggro away from you. And Grasping Vines is good if you need to immobilize a target and maybe get some distance between you and an enemy. Why the Sylvari are great for new players is because they have immersive lore that hooks you into the world of Tyria, hooks you in to Guild Wars 2. Their houses are made of nature, and their lights are even bioluminescent. Not to mention the aesthetic appeal. Just look at the hair. That hair is actually made out of leaves, which is really cool. And the skin is made out of bark, so they look like living, walking trees, which is pretty cool. The way they interact with the world is unique to all other races in the game. They are connected to nature, like the Norn, but also, because of their curiosity, they are connected to the mystics and the science in a way, like the Asura. What is a Mesmer? So, the Mesmer is a duelist specializing in illusions, clones, and deception. So the playstyle of the Mesmer is all about mind games. So if you're the kind of person who wants to put mind games on your enemies, Mesmer might be right for you. If you like making illusions, Mesmer is probably going to be a good playstyle for you. They use clones to confuse enemies and then create openings with that for powerful attacks. You can sacrifice clones to do even more damage on top of your normal abilities. So here you have 3 counts of illusions. So if I were to send an illusion out on an enemy, I could sacrifice my clones and they'll either destroy the clones and they damage nearby foes, and the shatter effect occurs at that location, and it hits for 180 if I have 3 clones, up to 5 targets. I can do frustration, which will cause confusion on 5 targets, or I can do diversion, which dazes enemies. So it really helps with crowd control and getting yourself set up to be out of the line of fire by having your clones take the aggro. So you summon these clones and phantasms. They mimic your character and distract or damage foes, or both. So if I attack this character, this creature, and I put a tank, it takes all of the aggro. So you have shattering mechanics where you destroy illusions. Let's talk about those a little bit more in depth. If we can find ourselves a good enemy. Let's see, maybe we can get a group of enemies. There you go. So now he's taking the aggro. So getting your illusions up can be a bit tricky. But once you have illusions up, the Shattered will put different status effects on enemies, as well as doing damage to them. That AoE damage and crowd control is very useful in solo play, as well as group play. So they have really cool utilities, like Portal Entree, which allows you to transport your allies and yourself over distances, which makes a Mesmer excellent for strategy and mobility in combat. The weapon variety, you can wield a mix of staff for AoE or great sword for more long range power, and close range options like swords or focus or a torch for condition damage. So the versatility is unique, and the combat role, because of the weapons, they flex between DPS, support, and utility. So they excel in both group and solo settings. So the reason the Mesmers rock is because the portals of utility, clones for distraction, phantasms which do damage. They're versatile in PvE, PvP, and world versus world content. And the synergy with the Sylvari, with the theme of mystery and magic alignment and connection to nature and the mysterious things of the world of Guild Wars 2, just makes them work together really well. If you're liking my video, please consider subscribing, turning the notification bell to all notifications, and hitting that like button. So for beginners, some amazing skills to look at. Starting off, go for illusion training first. It's going to help you proc your illusions more effectively. And then go after glamour, so that you could have strategy and utility around the battlefield. And then from there, it doesn't really matter. You'll get all of these as you level. Under specializations, I haven't unlocked those yet, but I would say probably chaos would be a good one to get first, because it's going to help with those conditions. Illusions would be another one to target first. So I'm not sure which of these two I'm going to target first. It's either going to be illusions or chaos. And then as for the elite specializations, later down the road, I got to do a little bit more reading on all of these abilities. And when I get to that point, I'll definitely put out a build video of one, either testing other people's builds that I find, or creating one myself, because I love to build craft. I think your best early game build is going to be having a great sword as your main weapon and a staff on your back bar. Now the Mesmers use light armor. You're going to want to focus on AoE damage and crowd control and practicing getting your illusions up. So the benefit of having your staff is not only do you get range, but you get some defensives. You get an AoE storm at a target location, which applies random conditions to your enemies and random benefits to your allies. You can summon illusions, which deal damage and inflict conditions. So as you're far away from an enemy, you can be proccing all of these abilities on your back bar. Then you switch and you're still at range with your greatsword, and you're able to do more group damage, and you can push your enemies back, and you'll have these illusions being built up. And then you can use some of your utilities like a seed turret. If they get too close to you, you can put it right on top of yourself, or you could put it, let's see, up to that far, so you can cast that up to 1500 away. So you could do a lot of ranged AoE damage and still be very effective. If I were to have a sword and say a torch equipped instead of a greatsword, I would have to run up on the enemy. It doesn't have as much AoE damage. So if I wanted to sit back and use a staff at range and then have something to deal with enemies as they get close, I could go to sword and torch, or maybe two swords or something of that nature. But greatsword so far has the funnest gameplay. It shoots out this plasma lightning bolt out of the end of it. Not to mention that, look at that. You're floating the whole greatsword in front of you and shooting out plasma type bolts at your enemies, and it's a pretty cool aesthetic. So again, early game build, start with the staff, lay down some AoE, lay down some crowd control, proc some illusions, then switch to the greatsword to do some DPS. So some exploration tips. When you are here in the Caledon Forest, you want to make sure, as a new player, you are going for every single heart mission. Number 1, every heart mission. You need to do that. The reason, it's going to help you level up the fastest. The second thing you should be doing, you should be going after every single point of interest, every single hero point, doing as many world events as they pop up like this as you can, viewing all of the vistas. The hero points are extremely important because that's how you unlock these abilities. So if you want to unlock these abilities faster, you need to not just level up, you need to go after the hero points on the map and do the world events, because those will also sometimes give you hero points. I wouldn't even continue on with the main story. So you see down here, I have a main story quest, which opens at level 10. I wouldn't even continue on until I have unlocked everything here on this starting map. There's a couple of other reasons why it's good to run around and do all these heart missions. Number 1, not only is it beneficial to you gaining experience faster, but you're also learning how to play your class. You're learning the mechanics of the game. You're learning the aesthetics of the abilities and how they look, and maybe when to proc certain things and when to leave things as they are. Especially if you get into like world events with other players, it can be very useful. It just gets you used to Guild Wars 2 as a whole. It's pretty beneficial to go through and unlock everything. I highly recommend doing it. So why are the Sylvari and the Mesmer such a winning combo? Well, let's get back again into their aesthetics. As you know, the Sylvari are pretty mysterious because they've only been in the world of Tyria for a short time. But not just that. The elegance of the Sylvari kind of mimics the elves of other games. So because of that, they pair really nicely with elegant playstyles and elegant class abilities. So the Mesmer, being an illusionist class, pairs really nicely with the mysterious and elegant Sylvari. The benefits of the Sylvari race playing on a Mesmer is enhanced survivability and enhanced crowd control with your seed turrets and your grasping vines. Another gameplay benefit is because of the role of Mesmer, it's great for solo adventuring or even group support and DPS. So because of that, you don't have to worry if you don't have a large group to play with. And you don't have to worry if you are in a large group whether or not you're going to be successful, because you're going to be throwing out boons, you're going to be throwing out conditions, you're going to be doing a lot of crowd control and supporting your allies greatly. And I think the best connection and reason why the Sylvari works really well with the Mesmer class is just the connection to the dreams. You start off in a dream state, connected to this great tree, and you have to awake, and that's how you're born into this world. So the fact that this great tree, which is highly connected not just to nature, and it gives you like an elf type aesthetic, it's connected to dreams, which fits really well with illusions. Because when you're in a dream state, your dreams are illusions. They're not real. It's just in your mind. And that right there, I think, is the best reason to pick Mesmer on Sylvari. I think it really fits with the lore, and it's a really nice coupling of a class and a race. Now, you could, on your Sylvari, play a ranger. You could play an elementalist or something of that nature, and it would probably be just as lore friendly if you care about that kind of stuff. But for me, it's not just about the lore. It's also about the aesthetics, the visual appeal of the class. So as we've explored together, the Sylvari Mesmer is an amazing combination of mystery and elegance. They are a great choice for new players, offering crowd control, AoE DPS, and flexibility to play in the way that would make you feel happy. Have you tried the Sylvari Mesmer combo? Leave a comment down below on your opinions on the Sylvari and the Mesmer. Did I pick a good race to play this class on? Or am I making a fatal mistake? Let me know your thoughts. I'm excited to hear from you. If you'd like to see more Guild Wars 2 content, please follow the playlist here at the end screen. Thanks for watching BattleRisk Gaming. This is your Battle Buddy, signing off.